Okay, so picture this. My life was basically a never-ending loop of digital despair. I'd wake up at noon, completely unrest, and the first thing I'd do is boot up my PC. Forget breakfast. Forget showering. Ranked was calling. I'd queue up, and within 3 games, I'd already be tilted off the face of the earth. Some noob jungler never ganking. You know the drill. But I couldn't stop. I absolutely had to end on a win. Hours would melt away. 9 p.m. would roll around, and I'd realize I hadn't done anything productive at all. The cycle just kept repeating. Day after miserable day. College. Yeah, that was a distant memory. I couldn't balance studying and gaming, so studying lost. I was stuck in some dead-end part-time job, barely making enough to cover my Uber Eats addiction. I felt like absolute garbage, but instead of fixing it, I just dived back into League to escape. I even hit diamond rank, but honestly, who cared? My real life was going absolutely nowhere fast. I was trapped. And the worst part? All that grinding, all those late nights fueled by energy drinks and desperation, it actually worked. I hit diamond. Finally, I'd reached the promised land, the place where all the tryhards and wannabe pros gathered. But as I stared at that little diamond emblem on my profile, a cold wave of disappointment washed over me. So what? I'd climbed the virtual ladder, but what had I actually achieved? My apartment was a mess, my health was shot, and I hadn't spoken to my family in weeks. I'd sacrificed everything for this digital badge of honor, and it felt completely hollow. It was like winning a marathon, but realizing you'd run it in the wrong direction, ending up miles from where you actually wanted to be. My life was going nowhere, and this stupid game was the anchor dragging me down. That's when the reality started to sink in. Hitting diamond wasn't a victory. It was just a shiny symbol of my utter failure. One night, after a particularly brutal losing streak, the kind where you feel like the entire universe is conspiring against you, I was just staring blankly at my monitor. The glow illuminated my greasy face. The empty pizza boxes, the overflowing ashtray. It was a pathetic tableau. And then it hit me, like a physical blow. I hated my life. I hated the person I'd become. I was a shadow of my former self. A prisoner of my own making. That was it. That was the breaking point. Right then and there, I decided I needed to change. It wasn't some grand, sweeping declaration, more like a quiet, desperate whisper to myself. But it was a start. The first step, however shaky, towards climbing out of the pit I'd dug myself. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I couldn't keep living like this. Something had to give, and that something was League of Legends. So, I uninstalled League. Just like that. It felt weirdly anticlimactic, like pulling a Band-Aid off slowly. Then, I started trying to build a life outside of the game. I started going to the gym with a friend, which was a monumental effort for a guy who considered walking to the fridge a workout. I started eating properly, actual meals, not just whatever I could order on Uber Eats at 3 a.m. And I even re-enrolled in university, determined to finally get that degree. It was slow going. Definitely not an overnight transformation. I was still a social recluse, more comfortable with code than with people. But slowly, surely, I started feeling better about myself. Each small victory, a decent grade on a test, a slightly heavier weight lifted at the gym, a home-cooked meal, felt like a step in the right direction. It wasn't easy, but at least I was improving. I was finally moving forward, instead of just spinning my wheels in the digital world. Then, one night, while chilling in a Discord server with some mutual friends, something unexpected happened. I met a girl. She was quiet, kind of awkward, but funny in her own way. We started talking, just casual stuff at first, then eventually calling each other every other night. We even played some games together, but nothing obsessive, nothing like the old days. What was different this time was that I felt comfortable. I didn't feel the need to try and impress her, to show off my mad skills or pretend to be someone I wasn't. She just seemed to accept me as I was, flaws and all. It was refreshing. A welcome change from the constant pressure to perform that had defined my life for so long. It was a different kind of connection, a genuine one that wasn't based on rank or win rates, but on shared interests and a mutual sense of humor. It felt nice. After a few months of talking and gaming together, we decided to meet up in person. Our first date was, well, a little awkward. To be honest, we were both introverts, after all, but it was also sweet. We didn't do anything fancy, just walked around a park and talked. We talked about everything and nothing. About our favorite books, our anxieties, our dreams. And something clicked. That awkwardness faded away, replaced by a comfortable silence and an easy understanding. Before I knew it, things were getting serious. We were inseparable. Every day, we were either hanging out in person, studying together, or playing games online, but in moderation, of course. It felt like all the work I'd been putting in to improve myself was finally paying off. I was building a real life, a life filled with connection, laughter, and genuine affection. It was better than any diamond rank I could ever achieve. But, of course, life isn't all sunshine and roses. Remember my childhood best friend, Emily? We'd known each other for 12 years. Practically grew up together. There'd never been anything romantic between us, just good friends. Sometimes she'd distance herself when she got a boyfriend, but she'd always come back after they broke up. I understood the dynamic. Now, the tables had turned. I was the one who was too busy, too preoccupied with my girlfriend to hang out as much. It wasn't intentional, just a natural consequence of being in a new relationship. But one day, Emily messaged me. "Why don't we talk anymore? Feels like I'm losing you." It hit me hard. I'd been so focused on my new life that I'd neglected a friendship that had been a constant in my life for over a decade. I told her I'd just been busy, but that we could hang out again soon. I didn't realize then how complicated things were about to become. So we decided to all hang out together. Me, my girlfriend, Emily, and another friend. I thought it went well. Everyone seemed to get along. But later that night, driving home with my girlfriend, she dropped a bomb. "I don't like Emily," she said, her voice tight. I was taken aback. "What? Why not?" "It's obvious she has a crush on you," she stated bluntly. I laughed it off. "That's ridiculous. We've been friends for 12 years. There's never been any sign of interest. Why would she suddenly like me now?" It turned into an argument, a surprisingly heated one. I insisted she was overreacting, that Emily was just a friend. My girlfriend eventually backed down, saying she trusted me and didn't want to control me. But I could tell she wasn't convinced. And honestly, a small part of me wondered if she might be right. But I pushed the thought away. After 12 years of platonic friendship, the idea of Emily having feelings for me seemed absurd. Fast forward a few weeks, and Emily's birthday was coming up. She invited me and some other friends to dinner. I knew this was going to be a minefield. I called my girlfriend and asked if I could go and pick up Emily, since she lived down the road. What followed was an hour-long conversation, filled with hesitant questions, reassurances, and a growing sense of frustration on my part. It almost felt like it wasn't worth the effort. My girlfriend was clearly uncomfortable with the idea of me being alone with Emily, even for a short car ride. Eventually, after a lot of convincing and promising to be a good boy. She reluctantly agreed. I told her I would sober drive everyone, hoping that would make her more comfortable. In hindsight, maybe it did. But the amount of energy it took to get that permission was exhausting. The red flags were waving, but I was too busy trying to smooth things over to notice them properly. I picked Emily up. Then our other friends, and the dinner itself went fine. We went to a Korean bar afterward, and things got messy. Everyone kept buying Emily drinks, and she got pretty drunk. I only had one. Since I was driving her home, she was quiet for a while. Then, out of nowhere, she confessed, "I like you." I was stunned. What? Where is this coming from? She just shrugged, her eyes unfocused. I realized recently that I want to be with you. I told her, as calmly as I could, "Emily, I have a girlfriend. This isn't happening." She got upset, her voice slurring. She said I'd led her on, that she regretted confessing, and that I should have known. I just wanted to get her home. The car ride felt like an eternity. I dropped her off immediately and called my girlfriend. She was upset, initially. She told me that she was right all along, and how dumb I was to put myself in that situation. She was mad that I had been so blind. Fair enough, I was more ignorant than I thought. But she calmed down when I told her I rejected Emily, that it wasn't even a question. I sat in my car for a while, just processing everything. I couldn't believe my girlfriend had been right. Was I just a backup plan for Emily this whole time? The moment I'm not available, suddenly I'm her first choice? The thought stung. I realized I couldn't keep talking to Emily after this. It would be disrespectful to my girlfriend, and frankly, too painful. It sucked. Because I just lost my best friend of 12 years over this. And it wasn't just losing Emily. This whole mess was going to mess up our entire friend group. Things would never be the same. The comfortable dynamic we'd all shared for years was shattered, replaced by awkwardness and unspoken tension. Choosing sides, avoiding certain topics, carefully navigating social gatherings. That was our future now. All because of a drunken confession and years of unspoken feelings. It was a heavy price to pay, a price for my ignorance, for Emily's suppressed emotions, and for the inherent messiness of human relationships. It felt like a game I didn't sign up to play, and one I was definitely losing. But hey, at least my girlfriend is a higher rank than me in league now. So we can actually do OQ together without me holding her back. Silver linings, right? I mean, it's not the same as having Emily around, cracking jokes and making fun of my terrible plays, but it's something. Maybe, just maybe, this whole mess will bring me and my girlfriend closer. Maybe we can build a stronger bond, forged in the fires of awkward friend group drama. Or maybe, I'm just trying to find a positive spin on a situation that's undeniably screwed up. Either way, life goes on. And who knows, maybe one day, years from now, we'll all be able to laugh about this. But probably not. For now, I'm just trying to navigate this new, complicated reality. One ranked game at a time. And maybe, just maybe, climb a little higher on the ladder. But this time with someone who actually wants to be there. And